Good morning, guys. Today we're speaking with Austin Glenn. Austin successfully ran a Kickstarter campaign back in December of 2012 to help fund the manufacturing for the Jamboo headphones. Over the course of their 32-day campaign, they were able to raise over $20,000 with the help of 403 backers. The Jamboo headphones are bamboo made and have colorful woven thread wrapped around them to prevent from tangling. The Jamboos are stylish, long-lasting, and inexpensive. Today we'll hear about the Jamboo story and how they stand out, jam out. So thanks again for being here, Austin.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
No problem. So we'll jump right into it. Where does the Jamboo name come from? Can you just give us a little background on that?
Yeah, it took me a while to kind of come up with the name. Actually, I give it kind of the credit to my roommate. We were brainstorming one day, and I had probably 2 or 3 names picked out, and was about to choose one, and I really wasn't fully into it, and I just kept waiting and waiting. I mean, we pretty much had the samples done, and we still didn't have an actual name and logo ready. I knew kind of what the product was going to be, but I made sure the name was going to be good. And, you know, the headphones are made out of bamboo, and jam is associated to jamming with music. And just tying those 2 words together just worked out so well. And it was great because the name hasn't been out there. So it kind of, you type it in on Google, and our companies are the first thing that pops up.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I think the Jamboo name's really clever. Really, therefore making a good name. So, you're the co-founder, and you also have there's another guy. You want to give us just a little background on you and your co-founder?
Yeah, I'll give you a little background on myself and my co-founder. I went to school at San Diego State, graduated in 2011, majored in business finance. So, I had a good background behind me. Got done with school and realized I wanted to start my own business. I had followed Kickstarter for a long time before I actually raised money on it. Just loved the concept, just couldn't believe how big it was growing, because I kind of watched it from the early days. My co-founder went to University of Michigan back in the East Coast, or the Midwest, and he played hockey on their hockey team. He now plays professional hockey back east for a development team. So he does that full-time along with working on Jamboo, so his schedule is busy. But yeah, we both have been high school friends. I kind of brought him on after I realized I needed some help, and he helped me tremendously raise money on Kickstarter. And it was awesome having 2 people instead of 1 try to raise money. Just 2 different networks of people, one in the Midwest, one out here in San Diego, and we were able to tap into both of our networking resources, which was awesome.
Absolutely. Gotcha. So, what about the idea for Jamboo headphones? Where did the whole idea come from, and when did you decide you were going to really pursue this?
I used to work for a watch company called Flex Watches. It was a startup watch company that kind of took off, was on MTV. The 2 guys that own it kind of mentored me, and it was one of the best learning experiences ever to work for kind of a startup that took off. Realized that I really wanted to start my own business while doing that, and kind of took a leap of faith and dropped what I was doing to start Jamboo. A girl I know had kind of made bracelet headphones, and kind of I got the idea to move forward with that, and was able to implement, the bamboo wood and kind of really take the brand to a whole new level and give it some life. Adding the bamboo, adding the nature-inspired styles, the Jamboo leash my co-founder came up with, which is unbelievable. Just all those special traits to add to a headphone that most people buy that are really boring, sound the same. It's almost like a chore to have to buy a headphone or an earbud, because you really don't know what to choose, and this kind of gives you a whole new style aspect to it. After I realized that this is something very innovative and something people haven't seen before, I realized that Kickstarter is probably going to be my best bet. A lot of things are funded on crowdfunding campaigns because of, people want to be the first to buy something. They're the early adopters. And they're the ones that are going to be out there funding your projects if they're going to be the first ones to have it. And no one else has seen something like this before. I knew that this product was going to be a good thing for Kickstarter. Whether it was going to be funded or not, it was kind of up to me and the hard work, but I knew the concept would be implemented correctly on Kickstarter.
Nice. Awesome. So, from idea all the way to Kickstarter, how long has the whole Jamboo headphones, how long have they been in development?
From when I started probably sampling the headphone and kind of coming up with the business of it, until I actually ran the Kickstarter campaign was around 5 or 6 months. Wow. It took me a while to, get everything ready to where I was production ready, to where I could just kind of go tell my suppliers, hey, it's time to go, and then have everything pretty much ready. I made sure to get to that point, not spending the most money that I had to, but as cost effective as possible to get to that point, just so I didn't have any surprises. I still ended up having some delays, but not catastrophic delays that would set us back to where we couldn't get a certain product or, we couldn't get something we couldn't fulfill. I wanted to make sure that we had everything lined up. And that took around 5 to 6 months of, me working at least 4 hours a day.
Wow. That's fast implementation. So when did you guys, why? Why did you decide to go to crowdfunding campaign? Where did you see the value in crowdfunding? Yeah,
I really like the concept of, funding by the people, just really showing that there's a demand for something. Mm-hmm. Also, we were 2 kids out of college, a year out of college, and, we really didn't have the funds to start a business. And we had some family and friends that were interested in helping us out, but not to the degree of, $15,000 or $20,000. It was great because me and my co-founder funded the campaign all by ourselves. We didn't borrow any money to get the campaign up, to get the samples, production ready. I kind of worked 2 jobs to make sure I could pay for that side of it. Yeah. And then I just kind of worked as hard as I could to try and raise as much money. The best thing about it, too, is I realized that, we're going to have the product pre-bought, kind of. I mean, it was not a pre-sale because people are donating, but, in concept, it's, people are going to have your product right when it gets here instead of paying for the inventory, sitting on it, and now starting your marketing and trying to get sales. Right. You already have product that is just going to move right out and be in people's hands. You're already going to have your users right away. I think it's a great thing for businesses that have innovative products, that have a product that they can actually ship to someone.
Right. So you'd say it kind of gave it like a proof of concept, and it lowered the risk.
Exactly.
Right. So instead of having...
Because the worst case scenario, I've raised our money, the most I would have invested in it was, my time and $1,000 or $2,000, instead of, wasting 3 years of my life and not really testing it in the beginning, and spending all of the money on the inventory. I just think it's a great way for a business to kind of test the market.
Absolutely. So there is quite a few crowdfunding campaign platforms out there, and there are many options for crowdfunders these days. I guess, why did you decide to go with Kickstarter?
We were going to join the fashion side of any of the crowdfunding platforms. We were going to do the technology because our product is really based on fashion. Like, it's a fashion accessory that is also a headphone. And I knew Kickstarter had a really good customer base. They're the hardest to get onto. They have some of the most viral campaigns that have, raised $300,000. So I really wanted to do Kickstarter. Indiegogo was probably my second choice. I actually got denied from Kickstarter 3 times. So it's really hard. The application process can be tricky because they're very ambiguous. They give you some rules that are, you're not sure if you're inside of them, outside of them. And I submitted my campaign the first time, got denied, and had no idea why. Their response was, sorry, you've been denied. Best of luck. And so it's really a blow to your ego, your head. You've worked on it for 4 to 5 months, and I thought it was just going to go through, and I was going to be ready to start raising money and had everything set out and timelined, and that was a big shock, and I ended up spending a whole nother month. I found a consultant. He helped me kind of go over my campaign. My video was a little wrong. Some of my content was a little wrong. Some of my rewards were a little wrong. He helped me redo my campaign. Reshot part of the video. Went back after a month, submitted it back to Kickstarter, got denied again. And I really couldn't believe it. I had done all the things that I thought I needed to do. And that's when I started to pursue Indiegogo. And one night, I wasn't even going to submit. You have 300 words in your rebuttal to explain why you should be accepted. And I don't even remember what I wrote. I just kind of wrote a paragraph and submitted it at like 2 a.m. one night. And woke up in the morning and started looking at my Indiegogo campaign. The next morning I got, you've been accepted into Kickstarter. So I'm not sure why. I have no idea what their criteria is, but I'm glad I got on Kickstarter. If your project and your campaign follows the rules of Kickstarter, I think that is probably the best one.
So you take some advice for potential crowdfunders is just read those Kickstarter guidelines over many times and make sure you're exactly in par with them, because they just won't let you go on to follow them.
Yeah, I think also asking other people who have ran crowdfunding campaigns to look over your campaign. Feel free to reach out. I've actually had people reach out to me and say, hey, like, I'm interested in, doing a crowdfunding campaign. I have it all set up. Would you mind talking to me for 5 to 10 minutes? And I've been more than willing to talk to someone and give them a couple hints, or some advice on their campaign.
Absolutely.
And don't feel afraid to reach out to other people, because you do need the help. You do need the advice, because, I thought I knew it all, and I thought I was, on the right direction, and I had someone kind of tell me, hey, you can't put these rewards in. You weren't explaining enough about how you were getting them made. Yeah. You need to be as thorough as possible. So I would definitely reach out for help. It's up to you to build the campaign and do the campaign and market the campaign, but you should really have someone there helping you or just looking over your campaign, whether it's you're paying for it or whether you can find someone to kind of give you some tips for free.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that piece of advice. So in terms of preparation of the campaign, I know there's quite a few things you have to do. There's the video, there's all the actual content that you're offering them, it's telling this background story, it's all the rewards. I guess what went into that preparation, and what's the most time consuming? I guess the first question, and then what would you say is the most important to spend the most time on? That's actually getting you backers.
Yeah. So it's a pretty long process that I made sure not to do it overnight or in a week. I kept building out my campaign, because you can start building your campaign, today, and start writing some sentences, start writing some rewards, and not actually have to launch it or submit it for review. So I would recommend starting right away and just start putting your thoughts down, editing it. I went back and forth for probably 2 months.
Wow.
Writing the campaign out, putting pictures in, writing the rewards, deleting them, changing them, adding them. It's not something you're going to do overnight, so you might as well start right away.
Okay.
I made sure to focus on the first probably 6 inches maybe 12 inches of your content, because that's what people are going to read the most. They're not going to go all the way down to the bottom and read your whole entire campaign.
Yeah.
You have these people for a few minutes at tops. You're trying to catch their eye and click on your campaign, and you've got like a minute or two to convince them to fund your campaign. Yeah. So most people are going to watch the video right away. They're going to look at your rewards really quick, and they're probably going to scroll down and read some key points and look at some pictures. So, don't write a novel all the way down explaining every little thing. You need to obviously be thorough about how you're getting it made, but don't write huge paragraphs. Maybe break it up into bullet points. Really focus on, you have these people for a very short amount of time. And that's why I think the most important thing is your video.
Okay.
And your pictures. Everything is visual. People want to visually look at your thing and read a sentence. Visually look at something, read another sentence. So focus on your video. That's what we kind of spent most of our money on, most of our time on. That's what I went back and re-edited to make sure it was even better than before. I still don't think my video was where it could have been. Right. But, really show your face, get out there, tell them they're funding you and your campaign, not just your product or something. Really get out there and let them know why they should fund you, and why they should believe in you to get this project done. Right. Also, your rewards, make them as short and simple and sweet as possible. I see some people who have, a paragraph reward, another paragraph reward. Dumb everything down. Like for mine, it was, you get one free headphone, one free tank top. These people are in your site really short. Don't have them for a month or two. You've got 30 days, and some people might just come across your campaign once.
That's right. Gotcha. Got it. So, where would you say most of your education came from in terms of crowdfunding? Was it like, do you have any specific blogs or books that you read, or was it kind of just cruising the internet?
A lot of it was cruising the internet. I know Tim Ferriss has a really good write-up on his blog. I don't know how long. It's really long. Yeah. It was really helpful. Other than that is Google. Look up. People write a lot of posts about, what are the top 5 things to do for your crowdfunding campaign. There's a lot of ebooks out there that can help you. And then just reaching out to other people who have raised money on crowdfunding campaigns, just try and get a 5-minute conversation with them or a 10-minute conversation. Kind of pick their brain. That's what I did. I found some people in the San Diego area that had raised money in campaigns that were somewhat similar to mine, that had a product that you needed to ship that was kind of new and innovative. And I asked for their help and got some good advice on, what I should focus on, whether it be, hitting up blogs, whether, what part of your campaign I should focus on. So don't feel afraid to reach out to anyone and everyone. Yeah.
It seems like the whole crowdfunding industry ecosystem, everyone kind of has that mindset where they're willing to help each other out, whether it be a backer or already a funded project. Seems like it's a whole, let's help each other out, let's build something bigger than ourselves type of mentality. So, yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about your funding goal, $12,000. Would you say it was adequate? Would you want more? Obviously, sometimes it's more, but sometimes if you do shoot for more, you might not reach your goal. So would you say it's kind of like right on in the right spot?
Yeah, I really focused on picking the right goal. I wish I would have done it maybe a little higher, but at the same time, 12,000 was kind of a good mark that was very realistic for me. Obviously, you guys should know on Kickstarter, if you're trying to raise money and you don't hit that 12,000 goal like mine or whatever you set your goal at, if you get 11,000 of the 12,000, you don't get anything. So you have to hit that goal. So Indiegogo kind of works different. You can do fixed or flexible. Flexible will be, if you get 4,000 of the 12,000, you get to keep it no matter what. You just have to pay a bigger interest fee to Indiegogo. They'll take, I believe it's 9% instead of 4%. But I did 12,000 because I really needed around 18 or 20,000 to fully start my project for Jamboo. But I realized that I had some family and friends that were willing to give me, around $5,000. So I used the crowdfunding campaign as leverage into, hey, if I raise this money and show there's a demand, would you guys be willing to give me the money? And they said, oh yeah, 100%, because, you're already going to raise this money from the people, and then you just need some extra help. So I didn't want to make my campaign $20,000, and it's kind of a lot when you're only selling a $30 product. I had to get 200 or 300 supporters. Yep. So I really realized that, hey, I need to lower it and kind of get some extra help elsewhere. It ended up not having to work out that way because I ended up raising more money than the $12,000. Yeah. But you can use it two ways. You can raise all the money just by yourself, or you can kind of use it as talk to investors and let them know, hey, if we raise half the money on the crowdfunding campaign, would you be willing to fund us the rest? And it's great for them because they realize, hey, if you can show there's demand for it, then I want to be on board.
Absolutely. So what what were the calculations that went into the estimate? Was it just the pre-order that you kind of calculated out, or was there other marketing expenses and things like that?
Yeah, it's got some. We had to meet a minimum with our manufacturer, so I had to order a certain amount of headphones over whatever I was going to be funding out to my crowdfunding campaign supporters. Right. So I knew I was going to extra headphones left over, just because I had to meet that. So most of my money went straight to inventory. I would say 90% of all of it went straight to inventory, which I ended up having to borrow some extra money because I needed to spend on business expenses. So, which is great because I wanted to spend it on inventory and I wanted to get as many headphones here as possible. But calculating, you gotta remember shipping costs, which probably I lost a good amount of money on because I incorporated it into the unit price for the USA or shipping domestically. But I only charged an extra $7 for international supporters. It ended up costing me around $12 to ship, so I ended up losing $5 on each international supporter, which ended up being around 80 of my 400 supporters were international. There's a lot of people out there that are from around the whole world that are on Kickstarter and are ready to support because they're going to be the first ones to have it worldwide, probably. That attracts a lot of people. So really calculate and figure out, how much your product weighs, how much it's going to cost to ship to all the countries worldwide. Because I kind of just threw a number down and didn't really think about it. I thought, I might get 15 or 20 international supporters, but it ended up kind of hurting me a little bit and came out of the campaign's pocket. And also calculating the 5% fee that Kickstarter takes off the top of your whatever you raise, and then Amazon Payments takes 3 to 5%. So there's around 10% that's off your campaign right away. So there's little costs, packaging costs for shipping the product. If you're going to add a special thank you card and stickers and other random things, you've got to incorporate that into your cost. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, 10% off the top, in your case, it's already $2,000. I guess you definitely have to take into consideration that percentage that the actual platform takes off.
Definitely.
So, in terms of your contribution levels, the 9 of them, and I guess what would you say the most popular one was, and was there any specific benefit in offering rewards? I know you had the tank tops and things like that. Would you say that helped the campaign? Or would you say in some ways it was a little bit more challenging because now you had to go out and order all that extra product?
Yeah, I made sure to, because I knew just selling the headphones by itself, I wanted to add a little different twist to it, and also give myself, my company, an extra marketing things for consumers to buy on the Kickstarter. So I definitely wanted to order a shirt or tank tops for everyone. That ended up spending more of my time too, because I had to get that manufactured. If I would have done another kind of thing, it would have been really tough, whether it's a keychain or something else to manufacture. That's just more time that's wasted for you and more costs that come for your campaign. I would kind of leave it to one extra special thing that people can buy on your crowdfunding campaign, because that was kind of enough for me. It ended up working out well because a lot of people kind of wanted a tank top. And also you can throw it on as, no one's going to have this either. It's just for the Kickstarters. I wish looking back on it, I wish I would have put the Kickstarter logo or emblem, like funded with Kickstarter, on the shirt. Because then it just adds that extra flavor for someone to, hey, I funded them on Kickstarter. Here's the headphones. Here's the shirt that no one else is ever going to have because it's got the emblem on it. Looking back, I kind of wish I would have done that. But I try to keep my rewards as simple and straightforward as possible. Someone comes to the site, they're going to watch the video, they're going to scroll down and look at my pictures, read some of the content, look over at my rewards and go, I want to spend $30, I want to spend $50, $70, $150. So I want to make it as easy as possible. The one thing I wish I would have done more was do different tiers for different rewards and do limited quantities. I did it once for, the early bird special where if you were one of the first 50 supporters, you could get a headphone for 25 instead of 30. And those sold out in the first day. So I wish I would have done, the first 50 would have been $20. The next 50 or 100 would have been $20 or $25, and then the rest would have been 30. And those would have sold out really quick and got, those first people that come to your site just to go, oh, there's only 10 left. Okay, I got to do it. And I wish I would have done it for the other boards too.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think focusing on your costs and trying not to spend too much money on outside things, you're raising the money for your product. So keep it kind of towards that. Don't put too much fluff in your rewards, because most people come there and they're either going to support your product or your idea, and they're not there for a keychain, I don't think. I really didn't focus on small little things like that.
Right, absolutely. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, that definitely puts it in some more perspective. So what were your expectations going into the campaign? And I guess, usually it's like your social friends and the people on Facebook and Twitter. It seems like that's where you get a lot of your promotion from. Were you guys spending a lot of time using those outlets when you were looking for support, or what kind of promotion did you do to get those initial people onto your Kickstarter page?
Yeah, so I reached out, I created a big list of blogs and stuff to hit up. We ended up getting on a handful. We were able to get on University of Michigan's school newspaper because my co-founder went there, and that got us a ton of supporters, family and friends. Me and my business partner focused a lot on family and friends. We realized, this could be, an aunt or uncle of ours could, buy these and give them out as gifts. And they're also pretty inexpensive. So, it wasn't, we were asking them to, spend $100. We were asking them, hey, can you help support us for $30? So that ended up helping us, get a good start. And I tried to focus on it right away, family and friends, to kind of get our campaign to the $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 mark. And then, we got a ton of international, and a lot of it just came organically through Kickstarter. You'll be amazed at how many people are going to look at your campaign. I think we had around 6,000 views on our video. So it's pretty wild on how many people are going to come across your product. So be aware that like you're trying to get that instant purchase, because there's going to be a lot of people surfing the web and surfing Kickstarter. You need to capture their sale, within 30 days.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you say you spent a lot of time with this, the interaction with your customers, and like how, do you have any recommendation for like, I guess, pleasing your customers? Because I know there's a lot of effort that goes into that and making, giving them confidence that you're actually going to, get the product to them. Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, we did around 5 or 6 updates throughout the campaign. I kind of wish I would have planned them out beforehand, because when the campaign's going on, you're going to have things you didn't know you had to do. Like you're still trying to get your product made, and you're trying to raise as much money as possible, and other people are contacting you for questions, and you're kind of all over the place. So I wish I had my stretch goals set out beforehand, which I didn't do. And stretch goals is, after your campaign goal is funded. So once we got to our 12,000 mark, you have another goal that you kind of put in your content of, hey, help us get to this next mark, and we'll add these special things to our campaign. Ours was we'll make a custom leash with the logo on it. We'll add a t-shirt or a tank top option. We'll also add better packaging for the product, so when you get it, it looks way better. I kind of had to come up with these on the fly once I realized how fast we were going to raise our money. But I wish I had that all set out, the designs, the logo of everything. And then I also wish I had my updates kind of, ready to, all right, if I reach my goal, what is my update going to be? How am I going to reach out to all the people that supported me already, and how am I going to ask them to share the campaign with their friends so that we get more supporters? I wish I would have done this all beforehand and not kind of waited and played it by ear as my campaign went on, because it gets pretty time consuming.
Right. Gotcha. Okay, so successfully funded the campaign back in December. And when did you guys actually ship the product? Ship Jamboo?
We shipped it in, I believe it was the first week in April. So, our campaign got over December 5th or 7th. So it took a little while. We had to deal with Chinese New Year, which Chinese New Year is late January to late February. So we were kind of right in the middle of, we were trying to get everything done and didn't have really enough time. So we had to kind of wait until everyone came back from their New Year, which it's like a holiday and they have time off. And all the manufacturing facilities are down. So that put a big delay in us, but it didn't affect the product, which was awesome. We kind of had everything on schedule. So it was kind of frustrating knowing that we were going to miss our mark of when we were supposed to have our product shipped. But we were as transparent as possible with our supporters. We were letting them updates right away. Like, hey, sorry guys, this has happened. It's going to be a delay. And most people are completely understandable. You just got to keep them in the loop. Like, you can't try and hide things from them, because once one person realizes that you're not telling the truth, or you're holding something back, then that's when they get mad. If you're just straightforward with them and let them know, hey, this has happened. They've already waited. They know they're going to wait. It's not like a customer that thinks he's going to get the product in 2 days, and now you tell them it's going to be 2 months. Right. These people they're waiting for something that no one has. So just be as open as possible and let them know right away, and not kind of hold it back.
So you'd say that, I guess the biggest troubles for you guys was the Chinese New Year and, I guess, the manufacturing. That kind of put the biggest dent in your timeline. Yeah, and I would say, don't be afraid that if you know your product or can't get made in 3 months, don't be afraid to put it at 5. I mean, the people aren't going to look at it and go, I'm not going to get this for 5 months. I'm not going to support.
everyone on Kickstarter knows that it's going to be a while before they actually receive the campaign's fulfillment. So just try and be as open and honest as possible. And I would say if you think it's going to take 3 months, say 4. If you think it's going to take 5 or 6, maybe say 7 or 8. Give yourself that extra leeway so it doesn't stress you, because as a business owner, you're trying to fulfill all your customers' demands, and it's going to put some stress on you if you miss the mark. So give yourself that extra leeway, just so it doesn't burden your mind.
Absolutely. So, with the Kickstarter success, did that bring in a kind of an extra marketing push for you guys? Like, did you get a ton more orders after the Kickstarter campaign, or did things kind of slow down after that?
Things slowed down after that. I put up a small, simple website for right when our campaign got over. I wish I would have tried to market it some more, but I knew that I was going to have kind of 4 months down, so we did get some, but I would say I should have prepared for it before and, been like, hey, I have a website set up, I have a marketing plan for after my campaign's over and we've been funded.
Right.
I kind of, once again, did everything fly, and just kind of makeshift everything as I went. You got to have your whole thing mapped out as if this happens, what am I going to do? If we only reach 50% of our funding and we have a week left, what are we going to do? Try and play out every scenario so that you're as prepared as possible and aren't coming up with things, at midnight because you need to figure it out right then and there. But yeah, I would say, having a store ready right when your campaign is done so that all the traffic can go straight from there over to your site and pre-buy your product is probably pretty huge.
So then after you shipped, I guess after that 4 months, did you kind of get back into the marketing push? And now that your product is out there, what kind of marketing are you doing? And what kind of things do you recommend for people who have gone the Kickstarter way and actually got a successful product out to their backers?
Yeah, we've been pretty bootstrapped. So everything we do is either giving out the product, getting reviews, getting samples out to people. I haven't really been spending money on marketing just because it's kind of got to all go back into the business. Yeah. But sending samples out, getting people to review your product on blogs, it's free marketing. It gets a lot of exposure. And a lot of groundwork. I've been, handing out flyers, putting them on cars. The products is so vibrant and inexpensive that I have a huge market out there. Getting younger kids to support the brand has been huge. It's just, you just got to kind of come up with every little way to reach out to people. Instagram, Facebook, social media, and stuff like that.
Okay.
I've got to take off, Michael, but it was a pleasure talking with you guys and kind of sharing some knowledge. You have kind of one last question that you want to ask?
Yeah, it seems like you got quite a bit out. I guess during your whole crowdfunding experience, through Kickstarter and everything, what would you say was, what's the most valuable insight you can give to people from your perspective who are potentially going to go and run a crowdfunding campaign?
I would say just do it. It's not going to end your world if you don't raise the money. So a lot of people are sitting on ideas and stuff. It's not like you're jumping 2 feet in with no way out. It's, you're testing the market. You're seeing if there's a demand for it. So don't be afraid, even if you don't want to spend that much money or time on it. I would say time's the most important, but you don't have to go out and spend $1,000 on a video. You don't have to go and get professional photos done. Right. You can do everything for a couple $100. Get a video up. Focus on your marketing plan and see if there's people out there funding you. I would just say too many people kind of sit back and don't think that they can do it. I learned everything on my own. I didn't know really how to run a Kickstarter campaign. I just read a ton of blog posts. I would just say research, ask questions from other people, and you might as well try it.
Yeah. So
it doesn't hurt you, because if you don't have a funding goal, nothing really happens.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So, you think we'll see you on Kickstarter again in the future?
100%.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've already been kind of storming more things, whether it be with Jamboo or with another kind of business. I will definitely be on Kickstarter again soon.
Okay. Any inside scoop you can hand off, or is it
not yet.
still,
I have something in the works for Jamboo. Just not 100% sure. It's not finalized yet. I haven't started working on the crowdfunding campaign. Okay. But if I get my manufacturing lined up on this kind of new product for Jamboo, it will be on Kickstarter.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Well, we're excited to hear about it. I'm sure something will be coming up. And, it's really a pleasure having you today. And, really thanks for your time, and wish you all the success with Jamboo.
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one, Austin.